and how to increase productivity. It's not a subject of economic system. It's economic science. The subject of economic system has to be distribution. That's how every individual need will be satisfied. So Islam has given a solution to it. By the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he said that the Imam is responsible of people, and he will be asked the day of judgment about his responsibility. Means that the ruler is responsible for the country, which means that ruler has to ensure that every individual will have opportunity in the world where he can attain his earning and basic needs. And if he fails, then Islam appointed his close relatives as children for parents and parents for children to provide them the power so the basic needs of every individual is satisfied. And if someone don't have any relative who can satisfy his basic needs, then the state is obliged to fulfill his responsibility from the state regime. Now see the difference with the summit and the outcomes from the economic system and the economic view of capitalism and Islam. How is it economic system? This was one example. Now let's look further. Company. When capital defines need, they come with a definition that anything which is desired is a need. And anything which is desired and someone is ready to pay its price is economically beneficial. And when anything is economically beneficial, then it has to be produced, irrespective of its effect on the society. For example, if wine and opium are economically beneficial, then it has to be produced and distributed according to scientific standards for capitalism. So whatever the impact of the commodity in capitalism, it has to be there if it is economically beneficial. Islam views different ways. Islam view need as yes, anything which is desired, but the impact of it on society has to be taken care of. So the trade of opium and the trade of wine is forbidden in Islam. However, how much economically beneficial they are. So two different ideologies are coming to two different solutions towards it. Now that's part of the system to compare. Freedom of ownership. Capitalism comes with a viewpoint of freedom of ownership, that every human is free to own whatever he can. So KFC, Bata, KBCL can be bought by a single individual irrespective of his public interest. Anything can be bought by any individual who is ready to pay his price, whether it's a well of oil or whether it's not certified. This is the concept of freedom of ownership. And that is why when we look into this, we see that there is a concept of privatization. That there should be nothing which should be state run, and everything should be run by individuals. As a result, what happens? The state has nothing to generate its revenue, and parliamentary tax has to be increased of people every year. That's how capitalism views of freedom of ownership. When we look into the freedom of ownership of Islam, if there is any, we find that Islam has restricted the right of ownership. Yes, an individual can buy a factory, an individual can own a car, can own a house to satisfy his survival needs. Islam satisfies it. But there is a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, al-Muslimuna tarakat as-salata jama'at al-kalamuna. Muslims are partners in three things: energy resources, water and natural land. What does it mean? It means that these three things, water resources, energy resources, electricity, oil, gas, have to be run by the state, but they are not the state property. They are in the partnership of the people. That is, they are the part of public property. Then public property has to be run by the state, and its benefit has to be distributed among people. Now you can see with this, if we take into production today, that we have enough resources which can be state run, for example, the coal mine which we have. It has to be state run to produce electricity. It means that electricity has to be provided to the people of Pakistan. without any profit and tax on it, because it is a collective partnership of people. And the state is just dominating it. That is the viewpoint of Islam fundamentalism. So we can conclude that two different ideologies of capitalism and communism, capitalism and Islam, have two different viewpoints about life. And these two different viewpoints about life come to a different system. Whether it's social system or political system or economic system. So these two ideologies cannot be treated as one coherent region. There are two incoherent regions. The nation which can fully progress will be the one who adopts one of any ideology. And that's what we can see. Capitalism, the West is just progressing one level after capitalism. And now we are left talking that either we are ready to accept and embrace the ideology of capitalism and leave the ideology of Islam as we have embraced it, or stick to the ideology of Islam, take the viewpoint about life and implement the system, take Islamic system as a whole and implement it, and then we can do this. So, conclusion to this, firstly, if a nation has to progress, then it has to take its solution from one coherent. And secondly, when there are any attempts to mix capitalism with Islam, then it has to be studied. Because the West has given us many systems in the capital of Islam. For example, definition. We have already seen that Islamic definition is very clear. Or circumstantial privatization is discussed as a product for Islam. But which is contradicting. So now when there is Islamic economics, we have to make sure that what we are taking is from Islam and not we are trying to modify capitalism to Islam. Because Islam is really ideology. This is because West has a threat from Islam. Because after communism, Islam is the only ideology which can divide in front of capitalism. And if it is implemented in the state, then it is a difficulty for the whole of it. And for this, I would like to give a quote of Henry Benjamin. He was the Prime Minister of England in 1906. And he said, there are people, the Muslims, who control spacious territories, even with manifest and hidden resources. They dominate the intersection of the world groups. Their land was cradle of human civilization and religion. These people have one faith, one language, one history, and